Hi, my friends and family. My name's Trey, and this is Trey's Timeless Now. And today, I'm going to have a little talk with you all about digital plutocracy for a post-truth inversion, just like the rainmakers like it.
Got to get it right now. Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Got to get it right
Now. Digital plutocracy for a post-truth inversion, a version of truth that doesn't exist. What is postmodernism? What is post-truth, you might ask? Well, post-truth inversion, could I give you an analogy? To be honest with you, I'm not sure if it's a good analogy or too close into the bullet or close being another part of the war, too close for comfort to be a good analogy, but here goes. Imagine if you had once experienced a whole entire year of organic weather with no weather modification, no sprays, all organic natural weather. No geoengineering, no cloud seeding, no chemtrails. You experienced a warm spring, a hot summer, a cool fall, and perhaps a cold winter. And so, with organic rain and snow, perhaps. So, but hidden from view after this 1 year were planes slowly dumping heavy metals, nucleated ice, and other assortment, perhaps gadgetry and metals, artificial elements, creating a continual overcast sky, creating a continually overcast, cloudy, cold, or rainy skies. Consistently, in other words, think what it would be like if, due to powerfully organized, very well-funded geoengineering and the terraforming geoengineering monster criminal elites had full control of the media. In other words, the parts of the so-called New World Order or the factions that work in certain corporations and certain 1% criminals. Imagine if that was the entirety of the whole shebang, the whole New World Order was run by people that only did geoengineering, and that's it. So, imagine the geoengineers had full control of all the media and news and opinions you read online. Now, imagine that this went on like it is today for like over 4 years. The Illuminati and the counts. Imagine this: the geoengineering Illuminati and the geoengineering Council on Foreign Relations got to, plan your opinion about weather perception. whatever it is that you believe about weather. Okay. I'm not sure if this is a crude analogy or not. I'd like to know what you think in the comments, but a lot of my comments get deleted. So maybe you should reply in Odyssey or Rumble.com if you want me to see them. This went on like it is today for over 4 years, say, that they, had you convinced that everything in the sky is organic, which they have around the people around here with the free newspapers and the colleges. But imagine it was much worse than it is here. Imagine it was like atmospheric rivers that lasted the entire year, where you got no access to sunlight. But they came out with an amazing technology right around that time that, or people simply learned how to use infrared light bulbs and other such gadgetry like full spectrum inner lights they taught you, the masters, the controllers, the matrix operators taught you that indoor farming was the only. Well, this is the way it is in a lot of regions of the country and the whole planet. For growing cannabis when it's overcast all the time, they have to grow their cannabis indoors. So, but imagine it was like that with food, with everything, with your own personal sunlight, and they told you to take vitamin D pills, right? So these groups have really, the Illuminati, the geoengineering Illuminati, the Geoengineering Council on Foreign Relations have really planned your opinion about weather perception very well. This is to Mr. NH, Mr. NMH, and my friends at GCIAYT. This is my response rather than writing an email. It's also for everyone. So this went on like it is today for over 4 years. No access to sunlight, no life-giving rays of pure yang, electrical soul truth, and growing now. Add to this the fact that most folks have only seen or used the monopolies, legacy media, the 6 stations, that are all in the club, as George Carlin calls it, that I'm not in. Even though my grandfather was a 33-degree Freemason, because I'm in a tent here, I'm not in the club. So most folks only see the monopoly, legacy media, these 6 stations, and then these several online pseudo-public, corporately merged platforms, and through threats of destruction, coercion, blackmail, and having 150 dark government employees censoring the network, after only less than 20 months of being in existence, this beautiful platform where we go to see so much great music, some of it pirated, so much great content, so much great, wonderful psychology lessons and healing, and sexy, way too sexy videos. You have them deleting people like me, or, taking down videos that people like I make, censoring the network. During this orchestrated takeover of the entire sky and full blocking of the sun, this platform declared it is now a crime to speak about the sun. In other words, this isn't really far off from how draconian and plutocratic the policies are at this platform I'm working with here. Okay, imagine if it was a crime for me to tell you that the sunlight is healing. Well, it's not that, we're not that far away from that here. Okay, the mainstream, if they don't tear this down before you see it. So, punishable by the videos getting deleted or even the entire channel. After 4 years with no sunshine, those who believed the uber popular platform, YouTube or whatever it's called, might think cold, gray, and rainy are the only skies, or geoengineer, official weather tube, or whatever you want to call it. Those who only see the legacy or mainstream media channels might think that cold and gray skies, that it's natural to never see the sunlight, because their spellcasters, their meteorologists, were telling them that for 4 years, right? And this is my analogy here. So imagine grow lights, indoor farms, and artificial warmth being the only sources of heat. Unless you say lived in Florida or Hawaii, as far as the U.S. states are concerned. Now, as people get accustomed to the inversion of having to get their heat only from these artificial gadgets and sources, people get accustomed to needing to get heat from something outside of nature, outside of the sunlight, because they haven't seen the sun in 4 years, in my analogy here, right? So they get accustomed to the inversion. They were constantly coerced, gaslit, and threatened if they disagreed with the new scenario. In other words, if anyone said that the natural sun could be warming our bodies and growing our crops and helping us heal disease, they would get in trouble, or get hated, or called crazy. They were even steered perceptually to forget the plutocracy and that plutocracy and geoengineering even existed. Imagine Dane Wigington had his entire channel and income destroyed, and had a huge smear campaign to make him look like the biggest idiot ever for spreading dangerous lies. Well, this is more than an analogy. This would be applying one part of the policy on this platform to others. Well, this is a decent analogy for how a certain public/corporate/government video platform I still use is still around a certain topic, which I'm not even going to name because I'm not trying to get in further trouble here. Because just naming this topic in my video yesterday made them tear it down. Okay? Why was the entire world forced into house arrest, or camp curfews, or FEMA camps, or free motels? Really? Did you know? Or I was evicted from this campsite by a bullhorn because the whole neighborhood was evacuated during the CZU fires. Did you know YouTube? Did you know that some people have told me that YouTube has lost a huge chunk of its audience, maybe a fourth, a third, or half the audience sometimes, depending on the subject matter, due to adamancy about fully complying with the inverted dark controller's openly closed, heavily lubricated, financially lubricated, and obvious narrative? Okay? This one video that's still on YouTube, I'm pretty sure, is called "Why YouTube Won't Exist in 5 Years," because of the corruption, according to this man. And there's another video you can check out called "The Video YouTube Really Doesn't Want to Watch." It has had millions of views, and the channel is called Business Casual, and this man has been running a YouTube channel for 10 years with millions of subscribers. And one of his affiliates found some of his material being used in Russia. And he found out that YouTube had discovered that Russia and the KGB was using people's material, hacking in, and maybe making money off my content. It's a strong possibility, or a tiny one. I don't know. But I will say that what happened is that when YouTube threatened to punish them for this, Russia threatened to take all of the citizens and all of the government and citizens, all their accounts away, which is it's a cold country, so that's a lot of money and revenue to YouTube, a lot of accounts. So they chickened out, and due to the lawsuit this man ran against YouTube, they had to leave the video up. So if I don't break any of their rules in this one, then you get to see it on YouTube. So, it's all obvious, man. It's a merge. Google has merged with the, I have to obey. I have to tell you good things about the experiment, or nothing. They have refused to appeal to the human reality, especially in the USA, the truth of freedom of speech, which is going to, of course, not only occur lawsuits and obvious conjecture or connection, corroboration, collaboration, and all of that with whatever is the result of the grand mad scientist experiment. But it is against the constitutional law of the U.S. and unless I have to just admit that I'm working for the MM, it's against free will and open public discourse. Okay, I've had them delete comments right in the middle of making them that they didn't like. So I'm on the side of freedom and truth. And you know what? Even X, or Twitter, now it's called X, and Rumble, they're also censored. X is like whatever the being known as Elon Musk and his affiliates deem as, or his AI algorithm deems as cool, that he supports. That's what X is going to be. I mean, I put videos in X. Sometimes a few people watch my videos in X. But they, again, just like YouTube, if anyone says any comments on them that they don't, that are going to be empowering, I don't know if anyone's ever going to see them. So I had a video taken down yesterday for simply mentioning a certain list. You can check on my other, the alternative. You can check on the uncensored platforms, Odyssey and Rumble, to see what list I'm talking about of lettered healers. That's all I'm going to say, because that's how much they're, trying to make sure that I don't break any of their codes or their guidelines, where I have to speak in code like that to not break their crazy guidelines. And retired, they've refined folks to a certain popular when I referred people to a certain fairly popular YouTube channel that actually has official legal physicians, hundreds of them who have told the truth, somehow that has gotten me in big trouble here. Even just referring you here from my platform as a hermit gnosis teacher to the lettered group somehow gets me in trouble. The big shots in the Oz corporate control room, basically, the wizards of GCIAYT, still insist we all stay in our lane, especially little guys like this little guy. The San Francisco left-wing lubricated socialist would rather support the open mainstreaming of Satanism, hedonism, and attention-grabbing, soul-sucking, shallow, or titillating sexually provocative comment than allow most content creators to get near the MM mafia and their powerful bribe and infiltration-based anti-life, anti-transparency policies. And the former Satanist high priest Mark Passio is still allowed to have his channel, but they turned off the comments and the live chat. So again, it can't be a conversation. It has to be his angry vegan yelling. In short, If you are not watching this on Rumble or Odyssey, you are watching it on a platform that still insists, after all of the destruction caused by the acid rains, that there are no chemtrails. There is no such thing as geoengineering. Going back to the analogy I started the video with, there are no such thing as artificial clouds or rain, and there is no such thing as natural sun. There are no chemtrails. The warm sun and vitamin D are only felt inside boxes, saunas, warm legal homes, and boxes of vitamin D pills. That's, because you're going to be a vegan anyway and eat crickets. If you ever eat any animal products, it's going to be crickets while you're sharing or renting your house permanently, and you're happy owning nothing and eating crickets and taking a Nazi officer's son's words verbatim as your reality because they coerced you or bribed you or gave you lots of money or threatened to kill you if you didn't do it, or all of the above. You're going to do that. You're going to think. There is no such thing as organic sun, going back to this analogy, okay? That certain systems in your body can only work with experimental, dangerous, brand new, heavily controlled products made lovingly, altruistically by those plutocrats who own the patents for the weather and the boxed necessity implements for life. In other words, the guys who own the infrared light bulbs and full spectrum house lights that are supposed to give you your healing light or your living light, and as well as the guys who own the vitamin D pills, are the same guys who own the patents to the geoengineering and make sure that you never see the sun. The ironic part of this video is it's not even only an analogy. It's actually some of the same beings involved. How about that? Am I a sacred clown enough for that, folks? Come on. Lucifer is not my daddy. I feel I must parent these sick children of Lucifer because I'm working with them. And they have to obey the dark. They have to try to invert me or try to tell me that I'm only allowed to stay within the bounds of what the dark side says when I make videos. And I'm supposed to just suck it up buttercup. What's interesting, is the whole, I wonder if this platform was the one who started this template or archetypal, scaffolding for this idea that it should all be anonymous. Well, Susan and Neil and all you in the letter groups, you're not really anonymous. I know I'm working with you. I know I'm working closely with you. I've worked closely with these people, so I know what your faces looked like too. Okay, so Mr. NM and all of you 150 letter group censors should really be ashamed of how low in awareness you've gone when you do stuff like delete LH's whole channel or JTT podcast. Because you see, the reality is groupthink, especially under plutocrats who openly only think of us all as sources of energy, supply, and money, and to keep their riches going. Groupthink under plutocrats is mind flunk every time. This is why you need me. This is why I want to tell you, I honestly love every being in the world, up to the most fallen, pathetically, spiritually moronic and heartless fallen angels with all their advanced mind control and their gadgetry. And I'm in the singularity with you now, okay? And I'm thankful to be in it. I'm thankful for all you CIA guys inspiring me to become a psychologist and even consider getting a degree in psychology. I'm thankful for how well you've helped me overturn your former, or your predecessors' incredibly dark mind control schemes through this platform. And I think maybe for some of those, if they were the same agents, it might have helped balance their karma. Like my mother's second husband went from being a sniper in Vietnam to an EMT worker for 10 years. So maybe that helped you balance your karma some. But every time you delete someone, every time you delete numbers even, or delete comments even, you just show where your awareness level's at. You show how low of an awareness level you have. Okay? I attempt to teach discernment on this channel. Harmlessness. Choice. Harmless, free choice. Is that wrong? To totalitarians, communists, neo-Nazis, would-be unelected rulers of the world, plutocrats, well, to them it is. Many unnecessary deaths and suffering you've caused with your adamancy in obeying the unelected, openly evil globalist, would-be slimebag 1% criminal kings of the entire earth, and the dark junior god ETs these Nazis or neo-Nazis are slaves for. Okay? And you think that makes you good citizens? You think that makes you responsible citizens of the USA? Or maybe because you're a Libra, you want to be the spineless Pollyanna that keeps the peace by not, just doing what you're told. That makes you all honest and good, right? No, it doesn't. YT is a great place to learn, as I just said, to learn about psychology, to look at music videos, to learn about certain topics that are not censored and strictly entertaining things. But maybe you need to watch, you employees of this platform need to watch some of my videos, like my video about why conformity is immoral. What? I'm not Jordan Peterson or Dr. Drew. I am not allowed to mention morality or reason. I don't have the letter. I didn't teach at Harvard. I'm not an MD. I wasn't a Hollywood talk show host MD. How dare I even say that name after what happened yesterday? I am not allowed to mention morality on this channel if I am not a really moral man. If you're in the religion of money, as Mark Passio calls it, if YouTube is in the religion of money, in this society, meaning making a lot of money, because I'm not creating or earning a lot of money, I'm not moral enough to talk about stuff like morals. Sometimes someone's 5-year prediction was that YouTube won't exist in 5 years because of stuff like what I've been talking about here and its corruption. And he mentions, older platforms that due to corruption went extinct. So, if they want to remain on the wrong side of history while pretending to be an open platform, that has consequences. So go on taking the bribes or just simply being afraid of the threats, being cowards and slaves or wage slaves, controlled by your boxes, because everyone in that county, I don't see how you're not unless you're really suffering, and codependent with the powerful anti-life plutocrats to pretend to be an open source for the public, free speech platform. Go ahead, keep pretending. Keep pretending to be an open source for the public platform. Around all other topics except that one, I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to go into it. I've made at least a half a dozen videos about how I worked with MDs and used organic things as well to heal this flesh suit. When it comes to health truth, going back to the analogy, folks, when it comes to health truth, remember, there is no sun. And they want me to forget it. They won't let me forget it. They won't let me forget that there is no sun. The sun doesn't exist. I never utilized it to heal bones. That was just something I made up. I'm crazy. Harmless self-respect, open discussion, and sovereignty is true morality in the USA. You know? According to the real values of Americans, you know? Whatever happened to the Sherman Antitrust Act of about 110 years ago, I believe? Well, right after it came out, you know, Mr. Big figured out how to work around it, of course. Now we're in the age of digital plutocracies, and this video is about how they insist on keeping, towing the line almost a fraction as much as the mainstream media. They'll let some people speak a word in edgewise, but they're going to monitor that very closely, and that's where the term gatekeepers comes up. So every single soul or soul fragment within the singularity or not must get their head out of Satan's ass or kiss the real portion of yourselves permanently goodbye. And that includes me. If I got my head up my own ass, if I got my head up in any way, it could be the end. So if you keep your head up the devil's ass, Lucifer or Satan or any of the names you want to give it, Moloch, Mammon, the demiurge, you can kiss the real part of yourselves permanently goodbye as humans 2.0 and their masters hurl themselves rapidly into the black hole oblivion of Mr. Big's plans. And you think it's, cute and clever, and you're so psychologically suicidal, that you're so sick of being stuck in your horrible inverted lives, so-called lives, that you got to go along to get along like the Hollywood lemmings and walk off the cliff, right? Just walk off the cliff. Yes, I am amazed at how some who took the crazy international experiment from certain lots, perhaps, are still coherent, are not injured, are still alive. But that is perhaps the exception. Perhaps the majority of them have become more incoherent, at the very least, amongst other things that they could describe for you, probably. I don't know. But that is the exception, in my opinion, probably. Strikes are simply, in a way, you could say, a type of modern attrition battling. You don't like what I said, so you take it down, you delete it, give me a strike. Put me on watch, put more CIA guys on me. Try to weaken me and make sure that I don't ever say anything that breaks the rules. Because who gets to make those rules anyway? You tell me the answer, or did I already say it in the question? I'm really, to be honest with you folks, I want to say right to you who are watching this, the first people that watch this, or beings that watch this, I'm actually not trying to break any rules or guidelines, or get taken down, punished, shadow banned, or deleted by my friends and coworkers and enemies at GCIAYT, nor do I wish to continue to have the need or the impulse or feel like I have to be your spiritual daddy in a Catholic priest sense or the Gurdjieffian sense and reprimand you and tell you how spiritually moronic you are. I don't want to do that. Okay? Yet, I I don't want to continue to feel the need to have to do that. And reprimand your madness. Yet you are the long distance family I work with. You who are watching this first, you are the long distance family I work with when I make these. You are part of that family, long distance family I work with at the moment. So choose self-respect. I challenge you to choose self-respect. I challenge you to choose freedom. I challenge you to choose oneness. And I challenge you most of all to choose peace. For if you are willing to take back your sovereignty, if you are willing to meditate or take back your self-respect enough to be peaceful, to be harmless, then you regain your freedom, then you regain your discernment, then you regain your original human power of choice. And if you're born in the USA, you get to choose what you're going to do and say. If you're not going to harm anyone else, the non-aggression principle is the reality. Okay? You are free if you are harmless. If you are harmless and respectful. But if you are violent, if you obey the violent, you will get what comes to you in karmic boomerang for those acts. You will never be free. However, if you remember, if you pretend, if you fake it until you make it, or quit faking it and make it, rather. Remember, the freedom comes, peace and self-respect and discernment come from within. No matter how much they threaten to harm you or bribe you, it's not going to help. What helps is when you begin to realize it's your job to become respectful and peaceful and to heal. Otherwise, how many lifetimes of suffering and trauma bonding to loose sucking, powerful, mind-controlling, predatorial, charming gods do you need? How much of that crap do you need? Because the future for the free, for the harmless and respectful is their choice. The future for those who obey is quite dismal. If you enjoyed this, if you haven't already, click subscribe. Follow me on Odyssey or Rumble, which might be the only place you can find this. But I would like to see that, we bring some clarity everywhere, because if I truly am born again, if I truly do have the gnosis, and if I truly am sharing it with you or the world, then, you will see that what Jimi Hendrix said is true, that when the power of love overcomes the power of fear, that the world will know peace. I don't know if I said it right. Anyways, only you can prevent forest fires in your cerebellum and your third eye from harming you, and instead turn off radio station 666 and tune in to the free dial of the sacred divine Christ Goddess Sophia within. And if you so have the courage to take on the mission on Spaceship Earth, my loving La Familia everywhere around the globe, create a great one.